it has now been a full month since that hurricane hit and left communities to pick up the pieces.
We want to roll back the clock about 2 months to just after Hurricane Helene hit.
It's been 3 months since Hurricane Helene.
It's been just over 4 months since Hurricane Helene devastated parts of western North Carolina.
Recovery crews have picked up hundreds of thousands of yards of debris left by Hurricane Helene.
The state's Department of Health and Human Services says Buncombe County was hit the hardest with 42 deaths.
The governor of North Carolina says he's asked state legislators to fund more than $1 billion to help the state recover from Hurricane Helene.
I-40 will reopen to traffic on Saturday. Hurricane Helene damaged that section of road connecting western North Carolina to Tennessee.
A handful of volunteers came together to restore the beauty and peace to this riverfront neighborhood.
Local businesses say they are finally starting to see signs of normalcy.
When we first arrived in Asheville in the days following Helene, we came to Biltmore Village first. And the damage was so widespread, there was destruction around every corner. And now we revisit Biltmore Village. The road is now open to through traffic, and there are some signs of recovery, but in some spots, nothing has changed at all.
I think it's a gradual process. You know, being in it, I'm seeing the progress every day. You know, from outsiders, it doesn't seem like it's really happening very fast, but it is. I think it just takes time to rebuild, right? Getting rid of the debris is taking a little bit longer than we would probably like, but it's getting there.
There are still giant piles of debris and garbage surrounding Biltmore Village, and recovery is slow going and inconsistent.
Just off Thompson Street, which runs right along the Swannanoa River that overflowed its banks during Helene, you find businesses like this that clearly have not been touched. This building in particular is up for sale. And then right next door, you see places like this. This dental office looks like it's almost ready to reopen with a fresh layer of mulch.
This building was built 2 feet above the 100-year flood mark. And then it was on this walkway, kind of this brick walkway, about 6.5 feet there.
William Temper works for Biltmore Property Group that owns some of the very old buildings in Biltmore Village. The day Helene roared through is forever etched in his memory.
It was a really eerie feeling around town. So about midday, we're like, let's start evacuating the stores. So 2 of our retail stores we started evacuating, pulling all the merchandise out, getting it all out of there. You know, we were just exhausted. Slept for a couple hours, woke up, and the water was already here. There was nothing we could do.
And communication went dark for what would be weeks of little to no service. But now there is light.
Yeah, so this one's not too far. They'll actually be open, probably less than 60 days.
And the Lilly Pulitzer store is completely redone.
Everything got gutted, excluding the floor because it's tile, so we were able to salvage that. But everything else is brand new.
5 months of work, and they are almost ready to reopen their doors.
I do think that this area is super gritty, right? I mean, I know for us and our company, it just kind of motivated us to get after it even more, right? And to recover as quick as we could.
Another sign of recovery you wouldn't even expect is the fact that these sidewalks are clear of mud. And you can really tell some of these businesses that have started to rebuild and recover, like the Corner Kitchen, because their sidewalks are clean.
We had 4 feet of water in the building and probably 6 or 7 inches of mud.
The freezer from the Wendy's restaurant was in the parking lot of Precision Tune Auto Care. Now the Wendy's is leveled, but the auto shop is going strong.
We had to clean all that out, tear all the sheetrock out, and fortunately the owners let us do the work so we could keep working and keep drawing a paycheck.
And now normal work days are welcomed.
And the first week it was almost like we'd never left. We were just slammed with customers.
But Helene left a deep mark.
What's normal going to be from now on? We've already heard that several of the companies are not coming back. So it's going to be strange down here for a while.
Just across the street is Village Antiques, a shop filled with treasures, some hundreds of years old.
We were watching this happen, dumbfounded, and I couldn't even begin to imagine what was happening here because Biltmore Village floods a good bit, but it's never come up this high.
Floodwaters filled their basement, filled with inventory.
We had so many pieces of art. I mean, 1,000 is a good round number, and that's paper or canvas. It was ruined. It's just impossible still at this point to gauge how much we lost.
Thousands upon thousands of items, filthy, waterlogged, ruined.
The smell was so strong, like diesel fuel, petrochemicals or something like that, and it kind of burned our eyes. We worked very carefully. We documented every single item that came out.
Almost nothing could be saved. Almost.
I came across 2 quilts by a Tennessee folk art quilter. I knew that there was something really special about those, and so I took them home and I washed them, because if they fall apart in the washer, what's the loss? Because they're lost anyway. And they made it. It's been through it, that's for sure.
Quilts, furniture, relics, dusted off and up for sale.
It was a very, very tough and dark road. Just to have people working together that had such a great attitude was pretty remarkable.
These are people's homes in Swannanoa, changed forever by Helene, but not much change since.
They say that we're bent, we're not broken, and people are fighting to survive still. It's been a long road the last 5 months, and we're still fighting to stay alive.
We came to Swannanoa, one of the hardest hit communities from Helene, where the banks of the Swannanoa River just on the other side of this gas station overflowed, and it flooded businesses and homes. And some of these businesses have remained largely untouched. But residents in this community assure us they are strong and resilient, and they will make a comeback. And they're holding on to small glimmers of hope, like the reopening of this bridge.
Everybody knows everybody. It's kind of like a little Mayberry in a way. We don't have a lot of tourists. It's blue-collar, working-class people.
Terry McPhee Dorland has lived here all her life.
We had no walls. We didn't have floors. But we came in, and we still don't have a lot in here, but we're in here working.
The Swannanoa Flower Shop is her family business, started by her dad 3 decades ago.
We knew the storm was coming, but we didn't know to what degree it was going to be. I don't think anybody did. When we pulled off the exit ramp off of I-40, it was just the river had swallowed the town. And I could see my buildings, but I couldn't get to them. And it was a shock.
She immediately opened up shop in her home.
I had a cooler full of sunflowers from a wedding that was still in there. Gave those away to people. It was like giving them a piece of sunshine.
And comfort.
We were given casket sprays to families that lost people. There was one family that lost 11 members in a flood called Craigtown. And I think I did 4 or 5 casket sprays for that family. And that was the least I could do.
But Terry's good deeds came back around.
And they're coming to put pylons under our foundation, and they're doing it just out of the kindness of their heart. He did say I have to do a big, beautiful flower arrangement for his wife, and I asked him if he would like that weekly and delivered to Bristol.
Terry's dad raised this building up 12 inches when he built it, and she thinks that saved it from falling into the river entirely.
Like he had his hand on this during the whole thing. I can hear his voice, and he trusted this with me, and I just hope I make him proud.
The River Arts District is a shell of itself. A ghost town, but not without heart. Empty, but not without spirit.
As life returns to normal, people exercising along the waterfront as they always have. Just across the street, Piles and piles of debris in the River Arts District.
Amongst the rubble, an oasis away from the chaos.
It was always like people walking around, constantly cars driving, the trolley, everything, but now it's just a skate park.
At the far end of the River Arts District, the Foundation skate park was spared from Helene's torrents.
There's just mud and like a lot of trash and debris over it, but none of the ramps got destroyed. Everyone came out and just had shovels and was just scooping up mud and moving debris out the way. It was just like a good, solid day. I love that this is still standing.
Each passing day brings a reminder of the storm, but with it, a discernible change.
It's just not as like crazy as it was in the beginning, I feel like, just because we're here all the time and we see it all the time, so. And we see how much cleaner it's getting too.
The skating community, brought together by the love of their hobby, closer now than ever before.
The camaraderie is huge, and I'm learning more about it as I grow older, but there's just like, everyone's so awesome and supportive, and it's just a really good vibe.
Maybe I should get some paint on there.
Studio 362 in the River Arts District, untouched by floodwaters.
We're all helping one another, and those artists that are displaced, we're giving them some studio space. And so we're all trying to help one another, regain a footing so they can create their art.
When we first met Mitch Colby, he gave me a ride through his hometown of Fairview on an ATV.
At the time that you and I met, I didn't even have electricity or internet connection or cell phone or anything, so it was great to actually talk to a human being from the outside world.
This time, we see Mitch in a much different light.
My father was an artist and stuff, and so my first professional job was actually helping him illustrate a Bible, an encyclopedia Bible.
When Helene roared through western North Carolina, Mitch was getting ready to headline an art show at the Grand Bohemian in Biltmore Village.
The Grand Bohemian Hotel got 10 or 11 feet of water into the lobby, and that's where the gallery is, so I lost 6 months worth of work that I don't know if I'll ever recover.
Many artists suffered the same fate.
There's like 700 plus artists down here that now have been displaced. 80% have lost their livelihood due to this storm.
But they are fighters. They're survivors.
If you stay in this business, you have to, suffer the slings and arrows that life throws at you. And the River Arts District community has really come together and helped one another. And they'll get by.
Helene was a dark cloud that blocked out Mitch's creativity for a time.
Well, I got a commission from the Grand Bohemian Hotel to do their Christmas card for this year, and I really didn't want to do it because I just wasn't in the mood. I was still repairing my driveway and stuff and help people build bridges and stuff where we lived. But I took it on. They wanted a painting of the Grand Bohemian Hotel with a rainbow over it, and as a symbol of hope, like after the flood and stuff. And after I did take that on, I actually did feel better because it got me back working again. It got me out of that slump.
And now, as he reflects on a storm that took away so much from him, his friends, his neighbors, he's painting again.
So this is what you call plein air painting, where I'm painting on location, out in nature.
A view of Fairview that means more now.
I call it being in the zone. People ask me, well, how long does it take you to paint something like that? I said, I couldn't tell you because I'm not keeping track of time. I'm not actually losing track of time.
This spot, not as peaceful as it once was.
Ordinarily, it's very quiet, and just all you hear is the birds and the wind blowing through the trees. This kind of thing drives me crazy.
His community is under construction.
These trucks just showed up yesterday, actually repairing some of the damage from Helene.
Oddly, the noise is a relief.
Take for granted the fact that you have a nice road to drive on. You can get out to civilization and get your groceries and whatnot. Shotgun!
The roads are better in Fairview. 5 months ago crumbling, Today, drivable.
When you and I drove through here, remember how muddy and really slippery the road and uneven it was right there?
Mitch's family members live here too.
And we had Amish people come in here from Pennsylvania to help build them a bridge so they could just get out. They were landlocked for a week. We were passing food to them and stuff across the creek. But yeah, all of this was a mess.
Mitch looks at these streets differently than he used to.
The day after, I saw people walking along the road just like The Walking Dead. I mean, they were completely in shock, you know. I need to ask them if you can help them, and they couldn't even talk to you, you know. They were fishing bodies out here in this water. They actually had helicopters flying around and airlifting bodies that were found that had washed down.
Helene forever scarred the landscape.
All of this is gone. That house right there, my cousin's, one of his friends lived there with a family. I think they had 4 kids. Some places were spared, weren't touched, like this place wasn't touched. And then the guy across the street lost everything.
This church in the Fairview community provided hope for people who so desperately needed it. We're talking about water, much needed supplies, food, and eventually generators to this community. It served the people in this town for a month after Helene.
The Fairview community made it through the worst days. Improvement is happening, and better days are ahead.
Mitch!
Yeah, all right.
So
good to see you again. Yeah.
A second time.
Yeah.
I'm glad we were able to get back in touch.
Me too.
We came here to this Fairview community 5 months ago and found neighbors pulling all of this debris and this van out of Cane Creek so they could shore up their bridge and enter their neighborhood safely. This was 5 months ago, and this van is still here in Fairview. However, neighbors of this Cane Creek community assure us there is a pickup process making its way through Fairview now, and this should all be gone in the coming days.
And just up the hill, Philip Buddha Morgan. He went to desperate measures after Helene to save his brother's life.
10 years ago, he had a brainstem stroke. He wasn't expected to survive it. He had a 10% survival. And 10 years later, he's here, still with us.
Helene destroyed their bridge and knocked out their power and water.
That's when I came up with a little rappelling system to be able to get in and out of the property there to go out and get supplies as needed. I had a large military-style backpack that I would just throw like a couple of cases of water in or some oxygen tanks, food, whatnot, and just hike it back up the hillside there.
Honestly, I probably would have fell apart if Buddha wouldn't have been with me.
Yeah.
So thank God for my brother-in-law.
Buddha was climbing up and down this hill for more than a week until volunteers stepped in to build them a whole new road.
I felt a world of relief there because I thought a vehicle was going to be stranded here. I didn't know how I'd be able to support myself, not being able to get to work. So it was a huge one when we were actually able to get the road cleared and the vehicles out.
But the bridge is still gone.
Everybody kept saying, we drive past y'all's house every day. We can't believe what you're dealing with. Our hearts are broken for you. What can we do?
That led to communication with people from a steel company in Charlotte. And they are going to build them a whole new bridge that can withstand floodwaters.
Everything's kind of getting in the works, but it sounds like it's going to be an amazing bridge, and I'm so excited. I just think it was a godsend that all these people from different areas were reaching out to us.
So much to be grateful for, but they'll never forget.
It's always in your face, but it's getting a little better. It is taking time, but it's getting a little better.
The scars are still there and you still see it, and it's kind of hard to forget it, and just so I've been looking back, it's pretty wild.
On our way to Chimney Rock from Fairview, we stopped in a small community called Batcave, where a massive volunteer operation is underway to help these people recover from Helene.
A surprise gift for many people in Western North Carolina recovering from the storm, the Amish.
Group of 5 came down in the age range between 21 and 27, and the amount of work they've gotten done, just those 5 boys, was astronomical. We did house demos, slag clearing, they're doing roofing, flooring, cabinetry, all carpentry. They're using our lumber mill. We're bringing in more logs right now so they can keep milling the lumber. and that gives the residents here free lumber to use for the rebuilding projects.
They are helping rebuild this post office in Batcave and a vintage shop in an old gas station called Hip Hen Uniques.
It was obvious that my roof came off first. The side, this gully over here, this mountain just opened up. I say 75% of the store was lost, all what was inside.
But they are making major progress, not just here, but all over Batcave.
Yep.
And one woman from Townsend is helping lead the charge.
I can't keep up with her. I really can't. I quit trying.
So it's a little bit of a mess because the storm last night.
Shauna Toller got right to work when the storm hit, and she has barely stopped.
It's more of a prep room, so all we had before was just tents like this that we could prep and cook in.
When she arrived in Batcave, she had to hike in because the roads were torn to shreds.
Driving in here was, the apocalyptic movie scenes. That's pretty much what it was.
This was the center point for crews.
We were able to move a lot of things out of the elements. I'm right in the middle of cleanup right now, but fridge, of course, the coffee, and then got to have the coffee. It's what keeps people nice. We've had 3 hot meals a day, showers, laundromat ever since week 2, and then whatever supplies that we can come up with. Gradually, we got a pretty steady stream of suppliers keeping us well stocked with propane, firewood, buddy heaters, food, you name it.
And people came from all over to help.
Everyone came to volunteer, Alabama, Oklahoma, California, Tennessee, Texas. It's just being human, You help your fellow man. You don't really think about, is it going to make me feel good, or how do I feel about this? It's got to be done.
Okay, well, be careful. In our original journey through Asheville, we tried to access Chimney Rock because we kept hearing about the devastation in this community, and we could not access this town. But road crews have made significant improvements to the roads, in some cases building entirely new roads for people to be able to get in and out. However, in our journey through Chimney Rock, we found a lot of devastation. Debris piles all along the sides of the roads, and also houses torn to shreds by the storm.
The water hydraulics of this are different from a storm surge. This started at the top of the mountain and built strength as it come down through. So 7 bridges on this gorge, 7 bridges. So when trees and cars and trucks and houses start coming down and washing off their foundations and getting into that flood rush, and it stops on that bridge, and all of a sudden it goes, whoa, and it washes the bridge out, but with more force behind it. Now you got twice the inertia coming at the next bridge.
Shane Zaccoli, the leader of a massive volunteer project here, gave us an ATV tour all over Chimney Rock and in the bed of the Broad River.
There was, 1, 2, 3 homes right here, completely gone. 1, 2, 3 homes right there, gone.
Some houses still standing strong after the storm, others gone forever.
8 houses collapsed, the river come up and washed them away. This was a veteran. We found medals for him, we found a flag. Jimmy Carter's honeymoon was in this house. We're hoping to build a house around this chimney. That chimney's really old. She was in her house, and the river took her, and she was killed. It's just a spot, just to give her a space. I mean, she's gone, and it's more of a symbolism of, hey, respect this space here.
Also gone, the bridge to Chimney Rock State Park.
When I tear that down, a new bridge is going to come across right here and back up into the state park again.
Shane doesn't stop. He is a force and the founder of Spokes of Hope.
It's like, where's the worst? We go there first, right?
They call themselves faith responders.
But I think the town picked us. I really do. We're a faith-based organization, so we walk on faith, and we just know we were led here.
2,000 plus volunteers have come to Chimney Rock to donate time, labor, expertise, and every single square inch of this town was hit by Helene.
The volunteers working in Chimney Rock not only work in the town, but they're also living here full time in this camp. They sleep in these semi-containers. They also shower here. They have a laundry quarters, an office, everything they need to survive.
Around every corner of this town, improvement.
A lot of this stuff is repurposed, donated, or just, we're just becoming really resourceful up here.
Andrew Higgins is an electrician. He's been here since Thanksgiving.
Whatever we can get our hands on to make it look the best that we can is what we're going to do.
And the work is beautiful, handcrafted, meaningful.
So our guy Joe, we call him Cowboy Joe, but he's a guy from Wyoming. He come in to help. A really good craftsman. He is literally taking limbs out of the trees that fell and making custom handrails out of them. Everybody's amazing. Everybody's really, really nice, really gung-ho, so to speak. Just let's get in, let's get it done. And everybody, again, I haven't heard no. I haven't heard I can't. Whatever we do wholeheartedly, full force, no complaints.
That spirit is what has gotten Chimney Rock to this place, almost ready to reopen. And every single material, every ounce of labor, all donated.
When they come together, this is what we can do. This just proves what God says he'll do through his people is within the unity, he commands a blessing. So for us, it doesn't surprise me, but it just brings joy.
Life has returned to normal in downtown Asheville, where they are hosting the Southern Conference Basketball Championships. And first up, Western Carolina.
I just love to cheer for them, making sure they know that there's people here for them.
The SoCon has helped Asheville flourish for the last 14 years. But after Helene, the fate of this year's tournament was in question.
We were holding our breath there for a little while. We didn't have water in Asheville until really less than 2 months ago. And there were people that are just getting power back on in the surrounding communities. So there was a concern that we might not be able to do this, but there was never a lack to or a want to. There was no way we weren't going to have this tournament.
It's awesome to be back here, and this is just, it feels like where the SoCon tournament should be. It's where, people's dreams come true of making March Madness, so it just only feels right that it's here again this year and that they were able to do it again here this year.
I think it brings the city together to make sure that there are things going on, not just Helene, to give hope to the rest of the community.
The SoCon offered a moment to honor the unwavering relief efforts of the people of Asheville.
Rock truck drivers that helped rebuild our roads, line workers that helped get our power on, so many vital things that people take for granted until you don't have them. And so we're going to honor those people, and this tournament gives us that platform to do that.
In a city wrought with disaster, the SoCon aspired to be a shining light.
You still see the effects of it, and we will for years. And we know it's going to take a while for everything to bounce back to where it was, but things like the Southern Conference Tournament and getting back to a sense of normalcy, something for our locals to do from an entertainment standpoint is something that really helps heal the heart.
We have wrapped up another 96 hours in Asheville, and we have been all over Western North Carolina, from here in Biltmore Village to the River Arts District to Swannanoa and Chimney Rock. And we have seen a lot of devastation 5 months after Helene, but we have seen hope around every corner. Businesses about to reopen, some businesses already reopened, and cleared lots showing a rebuild on homes. It's truly remarkable what so many volunteers have been able to accomplish.
Helene still plagues Western North Carolina. The destruction, the piles of debris serve as a constant reminder of the trauma. But this town is strong. This town is beautiful.
You can see the beauty of this whole region. As bad as it is, and so much destruction, you can see the beauty in this.
Countless roads are repaired, rebuilt, reopened. Power and water are restored, and volunteers are still working around the clock.
This is probably some of the best unity I've seen within the community as of late. People helping others in need.
Communities are making a comeback. Nothing can take away their mountain spirit.
you know, people are just a lot stronger than we realize.
Asheville is a beautiful place. Don't forget about us. We're still here.